everybody, Aaron Klotz, Adrian Dirtbags here, man. We got segment 10. I'm bringing in the hometown kid, Eric Theisen, the head coach for Hillsdale College. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Potter, thanks for having me, man.
Eric, some of you guys may or may not know, is an Adrian high school graduate. Went to play collegiate baseball at Illinois State for 4 years as a starting pitcher, relief pitcher. He kind of played all kinds of roles there. Many of you know his dad, Gordy Theisen, the old head coach at Siena Heights, and helped us out at Adrian College, and just a great overall baseball guy and baseball family. Eric's in his 7th year as a head coach at Hillsdale. Been there for 10 years. And a quick fact is I wanted to bring him on and talk a little hitting, is that Hillsdale is kind of just learned about this, but they have the home run record in the GLIAC, which is the former league that they were in, the Division II league in the state of Michigan, and now the GMAC, which is the new Division II league they're in, that covers from schools from Michigan to Kentucky to West Virginia. So, Eric, without me talking anymore, man, I'm going to turn the floor over to you and talk a little hitting and some of the approaches you have.
All right, appreciate it. Let's do it. Can you see that well?
Yes, we are. We are on.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to go through a couple common things that we try to do pretty much every day. What we try to do overall is just we try to stay out of the comfort zone, right? Like out of that autopilot zone. So we try to vary our rounds as much as possible. We try to vary our body position and the implements, the objects that we're swinging, just to try to keep our bodies guessing, our minds guessing, our eyes guessing, and just, like I said, try to stay out of that autopilot mode. And a lot of times what happens is you throw something at a hitter, and after 3 or 4 swings, they start to time that drill up, or they start to time that cue up. And we want to stay away from, once they time that up, switching to autopilot and then going through the motion. So every 3 or 4, we'll switch every 3 or 4 pitches in a round. A lot of our rounds are about 9 to 12 swings. And the first common variable that we switch up, that we like to switch up, is our body position. This can be done on a tee, front toss, all the way back to live BP. And so what we'll do is we'll call it offset rotation. Guys will start about 45 degrees closed, take about 3 swings, go to neutral, and then go to 45 degree open. Take about 3 swings at each one of those. Sometimes we'll also go 1 swing at each of those and continue to rotate through that. What that does is, again, just kind of keeps the body guessing, keeps the mind guessing, and forces guys to stay a little more focused. The offset closed, that does a couple things. It really forces hitters to rotate on time and get that barrel to the ball, forces that contact point, and forces them to get on plane with the pitch at that contact point. So what we want to do with all these, and the keys, as you see at the bottom here, hit line drives to the middle of the field, hard line drives in the middle of the field, and maintain posture. We want to try and maintain that posture throughout the swing and try not to lose that and get some early extension from the lower half. So what we want these guys doing, and I try to tell them, what we want them doing is hitting the ball off the hitter's eye every pitch. So we want them staying in the middle of the field, and we want high intent with that. So here you can just kind of see he's at a 45 degree open, and we go from there. So that's one common variable with the body positioning. Another common variable is we try to switch up the implements, switch up the objects that we're using. We like the overload, underloads from Axe. We've homemade a lot of those too. There's some low dollar homemade things that you can use. You can layer tape at the end of a bat. We've actually bought some lead tape off of Amazon. It's like $10 for a roll. We found a 7-ounce roll, so it turns a -3 into a +4. So if we're adding tape, we'll weigh it, and we try to turn a -3 into a +3, +4, something like that. Those are good cheap options if you can't afford the Axe bats. The long bats we really like. We've almost replaced the overload bat with the long bat that gives you a little overload. It's a 37-ouncer. For youth guys, really a college drop 3 is going to serve as a good long bat, overload bat for those youth guys. And then we'll also go to a short bat, which Axe has come out with. We don't have it yet, so what we've been doing is choking up on our long bat and making that a long bat. One of the things that I personally want to try to avoid is when using a short bat, I want to keep the weight of a regular bat, and so that's one of the reasons that we use that 37-37 and choke up on that so that we can keep that regular weight. But you can see here, a lot of these improve a lot of different things for our hitters, and they keep them guessing. The Overload bat really makes them use their bigger segments, and it improves that overall sequence. They've really got to swing it with their body, with their big muscles, and that's what we want. The Underload bat, especially during the season, we really like to try to key on that. Naturally, guys will kind of lose some swing quickness and speed during the season, so we use a lot of Underload during the year while we're playing games. And then the long bat's really good for kind of general barrel awareness and adjustability, and there's a lot of different combinations that you can throw at guys in terms of pitch location and pitch velocity and adjustability with that long bat that makes it a lot more difficult. You got to get on plane early, you got to stay on plane, and so the guys like that switch up too. The short bat really locks in on posture and posture adjustments. You've really got to make sure that you get to a good posture and you maintain that posture through the swing when using that short bat. And then the last implement variable is actually the ball. We love the plyo balls. We use them on the tees. We use them on front toss. Those really give a good feedback, immediate feedback on how much a player's squaring the ball up. We try to tell them that they want to hit all of their balls, whether it's a baseball or a plyo ball, with no spin. That's a perfectly squared up ball. And so that's their goal. It rarely happens, but their goal is to perfectly flush and square that up and create no spin. Those plyos do a really good job of making the guys aware of that at contact.
So the biggest thing too, though, when you go through all those progressions with the different bats, is that you're obviously trying to have the same swing, just with a different piece of equipment.
Correct.
So you're trying to make sure you keep your hands inside the ball. You're trying to get your barrel to the same point with bat A, B, C, D. It's just going to weigh different. And I know, the baseball savvy parent may know, these bats that are youth, they're 25 inches long. For youth, they're called drop 10s. They're 15 ounces in weight. They're 30 ounces, 30 inches, they're 20 ounces. And as you get older with a BB core bat, a 32 ounce can only have a 3 ounce difference from the length. So what he's saying is that, when he adds this tape, he's adding weight. And it's, back when you and I played, it was a donut. It was pick up a bunch of bats and swing them. But now we're taking that to training. We're taking that to, the cage. We're not just getting in the cage and, yeah, you can hit off the tee, yeah, you can hit batting practice, but these are some different variable things that you can do that will constantly help you improve as well.
Yeah, one of the best things that I like about varying the implements and the body position is that it kind of creates the environment for the player that produces the outcome that we want. It keeps the natural athleticism in the swing. So as long as their intent is where we want it to be, it's high intent, and we're giving them some external feedback and external cues in terms of ball flight and how we want them to hit the ball, what they want that ball to look like coming off the bat, then they can keep their intent high. They're not thinking about their mechanics through these rounds, and they're really just working on letting the drill, letting the environment challenge them, and allows them to continue to be athletic through those. Some common cues and progressions that we use, we really like the high intent. We want our guys to be high intent, and then within that high intent, we want to try and make sure we're flushing balls and squaring them up as much as possible. We do want them focusing on ball flight quite often, and it'll vary from day to day. But the ball flight will tell you that's kind of it's a non-technology piece of feedback that will tell you a lot. The spin of the ball, how flush you catch it, things like that. Some of our favorite cues in terms of posture, one of my favorite cues is take your face to the ball. I find that really corrects a guy's posture without talking to him about posture, talking to him about his hip hinge, things like that. If you take your face to a high pitch, you're going to have that elevated pitch posture. If you take your face to a low pitch, you're going to have that low pitch posture, and it's going to help fix that without the player thinking internally about that. As far as our guys playing in intent, we want them trying to hit the ball off the batter's eye, like I said, on a line. We call it feeding the horse at Simpson Field. And again, we want no spin on the ball as much as we possibly can. And in our cages, we've got strings hung up from corner to corner in each cage. You can see them over here. And depending on which plate we're at, we can cue them for a different outcome. And so when we're at our deep plate, the best outcome for our guys is under that first string over that second. That's kind of an environmental constraint, kind of keeps them locked into a high line drive angle there, and it's a good visual goal for them to be able to look for. And some of the progressions, again, you can start these drills, the offset open, the offset closed. You can use your different implements. You can do it off a tee, you can do it off front toss. We will back them up to regular BP, but again, plyos are one of my favorite progressions. Height ladder, we like to work top down. That's kind of how we want our swing and our posture working. So we tend to go maybe 3 pitches elevated, 3 pitches middle, 3 pitches down. Within that, you can also switch up your bats that you're using. You can do that within the offset rotation sequence as well. And then mixed BP is great, especially with these various stances and various implements. To mix the BP really forces the hitter to stay adjustable and still achieve that desired outcome. And then lastly, velo. We end each day with some high velo machine. As much as a guy can handle, putting him outside of his comfort zone without it being impossible. This last piece here is just kind of an example of a combination. We've got our guy here is offset open. He's using a short bat, and we've got a low breaking ball, and what he's trying to do is square that up with no spin, elevate to the middle of the field. He gets around and pulls a little bit here. One of the things that we really work on with our guys is when they're seeing breaking ball machine or even BP breaking balls, that they time themselves up for a fastball still. A lot of guys, if they set their personal time up for the breaking ball that they know is coming, then they're not going to work on their realistic in-game adjustments. So we really try to work on guys setting themselves up for a fastball speed, even though they know the breaking ball is coming. And again, he's got to take his face to this pitch to be able to catch it flush without any spin and elevate it to the pull side. So that's one example. And then a lot of the combinations we like to use with the offset open, we like to add a short bat, make it more difficult. We like to throw the low pitch to make it more difficult. And then on top of that, we like to throw the off speed to make it more difficult. And again, plyos are certainly a good progression. Offset close, one of our favorite pairings with that is the long bat or heavy bat. Really force that torso rotation. We like to pair that with a high pitch, and then especially high velo, elevated, really makes it difficult. So those are some of our common variations that we like to use. Keep our guys guessing, keep them athletic, and keep them aggressive.
I mean, the biggest thing, guys, if you're watching out there, as you're seeing, is just there's not just batting practice fastballs down the middle when you're training. And I like to say training versus practice, because you truly are training. Practice is, I mean, I guess what you call the gathering, but when you get to practice, you train. And what you guys appear to be doing is training the uncomfortableness, so when they get in the game, they are comfortable. And you obviously are doing a great job, man. And I appreciate you taking time to hop on. You know, I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of things going on, but we certainly appreciate you giving a chance to give back to the Adrian Dirtbags and anyone that can watch these videos and get better. I know we've got a lot of views from all around the country, and it's just been a fun thing to do, man. So I appreciate you hopping on today.
Appreciate it, AK. Good to catch up, man. Go Dirtbags, baby.
Yeah, man. Hey, follow the Hillsdale College Chargers. Get on their Twitter. Get on their website. The Theisen family is doing an awesome job down there, and we wish you best of luck the next time you hop on that field next spring, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
See you.